My name is Zara Mitchell, and I'm 30 years old. If you'd asked me a few months ago to describe my life, I would have said it was solid. Not glamorous, not tragic, just steady, in a way I'd worked really hard for. I work as a senior auditor. My entire career is built on finding discrepancies. I look at spreadsheets, receipts, and ledgers, and I find the story the numbers are trying to hide. I pay my bills on time. I know exactly what's in my savings account down to the cent. My idea of chaos is when a column doesn't balance on the first try. And for the past 18 months, I had been in what I thought was a real relationship with my boyfriend, Liam Brooks, who is 26. From the outside, we looked good together. He's handsome in that effortless, camera-ready way. Messy on purpose hair linen shirts, a smile that suggests he knows a secret beach no one else does. Liam calls himself a travel vlogger and a digital nomad. In reality, he's mostly a digital tenant in my apartment. He has a clean, bright feed. Lots of golden hour photos, latte art gym selfies, and captions about chasing freedom and escaping the matrix. I thought it was a little much, but he made me laugh. And in person, he was warm, charming, attentive. We moved in together after 6 months. It felt fast, but I told myself that's what people do when things are right. For a while, everything seemed normal. We shared a one-bedroom apartment, split chores, fought about stupid things like whose turn it was to take the trash out. I packed lunches, he picked restaurants. I did spreadsheets, he did stories and reels. Then there was Liam's brand. He wasn't just on Instagram, he lived there. He spent hours curating his feed, editing photos, testing filters. Every brunch, every coffee, every walk became content. And at first I played along. I took his pictures. I waited before I ate so he could photograph the food. I tried to understand why engagement rates mattered more than just enjoying the moment. I told myself it was harmless. Annoying sometimes, but harmless. I was wrong about that. The Instagram thing happened on a Sunday evening in early November. I'd just gotten home from work around 6 in a row, kicked off my heels and grabbed a seltzer from the fridge. Liam was already on the couch, leaned back with his phone 3 inches from his face, scrolling with the kind of focus most people reserve for defusing bombs. "Hey babe, can you look at something?" he asked without looking up. "Sure," I said, dropping my bag on the dining chair. "What's up?" He turned his phone toward me. It was his Instagram profile, a grid full of warm tones and cool angles. Liam at rooftop bars, Liam at coffee shops, Liam in front of murals, Liam's shoes, Liam's hands holding expensive drinks. I scrolled, and then I realized what I wasn't seeing. There were no photos of me. None. "Do you notice anything?" he asked, a little smile tugging at his mouth like he was proud of a new haircut. "You deleted all the pictures of us," I said slowly. "Yeah," he said it like we were discussing recycling. "They didn't fit my aesthetic." I blinked. "Your what?" "My aesthetic," he repeated like it should be obvious. "I'm going for a solo traveler vibe. Wanderlust, freedom, the couple shots. They just felt off-brand. You look very corporate. It clashes with the nomad energy." Off-brand. He said it so casually I actually laughed, waiting for him to say he was joking. He didn't. "So your girlfriend is off-brand," I said. My voice came out flatter than I intended. "Zara, don't make this a thing," he sighed. "It's not about you personally. It's about the overall look of my page." "How am I supposed to separate those?" I asked. "You erased me from your entire online presence." "It's just Instagram," he said. "You're being dramatic. People curate their feeds all the time." "Yeah," I said. "They adjust lighting. They don't erase their partner." He rolled his eyes. "You're overreacting. I'm trying to grow my following. I have to be strategic. You know I'm building something here." There it was again. The thing he said whenever I questioned a purchase, a trip, a $19 cocktail. I'm building something. I stared at his profile. Months of brunches, date nights, weekend getaways we'd shared, and you'd never know I'd been there at all. Something in my chest went cold. "Okay," I said finally. "That's it?" Liam asked. He sounded suspicious, like he'd expected tears or a fight. "Yeah," I said. I took another sip of seltzer. "Perfect, actually." "Perfect what?" he asked. "Nothing," I said. "Just perfect." He shrugged and went back to scrolling. I walked down the hallway to our bedroom, closed the door, and opened my laptop. My auditor brain had just kicked in. Here's the thing about Liam's aesthetic. It was expensive. The brunch spots, he tagged $30 a plate. The coffee shops, $7 lattes. The outfits, borrowed designer or bought on sale. My bank account knew every one of them. When we moved in together, we'd opened a shared account for rent and utilities. The plan was to contribute equally. In reality, Liam put in maybe $350 a month. I put in everything else because he was in a growth phase, because he needed to invest in content, because his brand would take off soon. At first, it was little things. I'd cover an Uber a tab. Then suddenly my card was the default at restaurants. Then I gave him access to one of my personal credit cards for emergencies. Emergencies apparently included Starbucks clothing hauls and networking drinks. Staring at my transaction history, the pattern looked embarrassingly clear. I was funding the lifestyle that looked so aspirational on his feed. I sat there for a long-minute heartbeat, loud in my ears. It wasn't rage exactly. It was more like a quiet click, like finding the fraudulent entry in a ledger. He'd erased me from the part of his life that gave him validation, but kept me in the part that paid for it. I logged into my online banking. First, I removed Liam as an authorized user on my credit card. One click. Confirm. Done. Then I changed the password on our shared account and transferred out exactly the portion I had contributed over the last few months to cover his share. I left his $350 where it was. I took screenshots of everything, mostly for myself. I stared at the confirmation screens. I didn't feel guilty. I felt steady. Sharp. He doesn't fit my financial aesthetic, I thought, and the line made me snort quietly. I closed the laptop, smoothed my hair, and went back to the living room. "Hey," I said, leaning on the back of the couch. "Just so you know, I made some changes to our financial setup." Liam glanced up. "What kind of changes?" "I removed your access to my credit card," I said evenly, "and I split the shared account. Your contributions are still there. I moved mine back to my personal account." He sat up, eyes widening. "Wait, what? Why would you do that?" "Because," I said, "you don't fit my financial aesthetic." He stared at me. "That's not funny. I'm not joking." "Zara, come on," he said, laughing once in disbelief. "You can't just cut me off because I changed my Instagram grid." "Can I?" I asked. "You deleted me from your aesthetic. I'm deleting you from mine. Fair trade." "That's completely different," he snapped. "How?" I asked. "You told me it's just Instagram. I'm telling you it's just money." He opened his mouth, closed it, then pointed at me like he'd found his argument. "Because this is real. This affects my life, my credit, my plans. I need that card." "And I needed not to be erased from your public life," I said quietly. We both made adjustments. His face flushed. "This is petty Zara." "Maybe," I said. "But I'm done funding a lifestyle I'm not allowed to exist in." I grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" he demanded. "To get some air," I said. "I'll be back later." I drove to a nearby park and sat in my car until the sky turned dark, the dashboard clock ticking softly. My phone buzzed once with a notification from my banking app. No messages from Liam. By the time I got home, the apartment was quiet. The bedroom door was shut. I slept on the couch. The next day, the consequences of my financial aesthetic adjustment finally caught up to him. At 4:13 p.m., my phone rang. Liam. I let it go to the second ring before picking up. "Hello?" "What did you do?" he hissed. There was noise in the background, music chatter, a cash register. "You'll have to be more specific," I said. "My card declined," he said. "I'm standing in the middle of Saks Fifth Avenue with bags in my hands, and my card just got declined." "Which card?" I asked, even though I already knew. "Your card, Zara. The one you gave me. The emergency one." His voice cracked on the word emergency, like he knew how ridiculous it sounded. "Oh," I said. "That card. Yeah, I told you yesterday. I revoked your access." "I thought you were bluffing," he snapped. "Who actually does that?" "Apparently an auditor," I said. "This is insane," he said. "How am I supposed to pay for anything with your own money?" I said. "You know, from your job." "I don't have enough in there," he said like he expected sympathy. "Then you can't afford it?" "I'm being consistent," I cut in. "You set the tone last night. I'm just following your lead." There was a long pause, just the faint echo of some pop song playing over the store speakers. "I hate you right now," Liam said finally. "That's fine," I said. "You don't have to like me. You just don't get to spend my money while pretending I don't exist." He hung up. I sat at my desk staring at my computer screen as numbers blurred and refocused. Underneath the satisfaction, something heavier settled in my chest. It wasn't that I'd cut him off. It was that for the first time, I believed the relationship might already be over, and he just hadn't realized it yet. When I woke up Saturday morning on the couch, the apartment was silent. Liam's bedroom door was still closed. I made coffee, stared at the dark liquid swirling in the mug, and waited for anything. A text, a fight, an apology, a question, something, nothing. Around noon, I grabbed my gym bag and left. A workout felt easier than lingering in that tight, airless apartment. When I returned around 2:01, Liam was gone. A note on the counter read, "Going shopping with Bella. We need to talk when I'm home." Bella. I only knew her through Liam's stories. Always the girl with glowy skin, a sculpted gym body, and a perfectly curated aesthetic that made Liam's eyes light up in a way mine never did. She was a lifestyle influencer, and she fit his aesthetic perfectly. I stared at the note for a moment, then texted my friend Maya. Me. He went shopping with Bella. Maya, the one with the beige-on-beige feed. Me, that's the one. Maya girl, good luck. At 4:37 p.m., my phone rang. Liam. I let it buzz twice before answering. Hello. What did you do? His voice cracked with outrage, echoing faintly through some department store acoustics. You're going to have to be more specific, I said, leaning on the kitchen counter. My card declined, in front of Bella at Saks. Do you understand how humiliating that was? I understand your spending exceeded your resources, I said calmly. Zara, stop talking like an auditor. I'm standing here with bags in my hands like an idiot. Use your own money, I repeated. I don't have enough. Then you can't afford it. You're being impossible, he snapped. You can't just cut off your boyfriend financially because you're mad about Instagram. You erased me from your public life, I said quietly. I erased you from my budget. There was a long silence. Somewhere behind him, a woman's voice drifted through, probably Bella, asking if everything was okay. He lowered his voice. You're going to regret this, he said, and then he hung up. Hours later, Liam came home. He slammed the front door so hard a picture frame rattled. He marched into the living room, dropped 2 shopping bags, Bella's brand, not his, and crossed his arms. This is ridiculous, he announced. You said that already, I replied. Because it is. He paced. He always paced when he needed to feel taller. You can't punish me financially because you're insecure about Instagram. Insecure? I asked softly. You erased me from your feed. It's not personal, it is to me. He stopped pacing. We live together. We share expenses. This affects both of us. We did share expenses, I corrected. Now we each handle our own. What about rent? He demanded. My half is due on the 1st. Then you'll pay it on the 1st. I don't have that much in my account. That sounds like a planning problem. His mouth fell open. Zara, you can't seriously expect me to adjust my entire lifestyle overnight. Yes, I said. I can. He stared at me like I just committed a crime. You know, he said quietly. I have options. Oh, I raised an eyebrow. There are women who would be thrilled to be with me. Women who appreciate what I bring to the table. Then date them, I said. He blinked. Maybe I will. Let me know when you move out. A beat passed. You're breaking up with me over this, he asked. You broke up with me the moment you decided your image mattered more than I did. He didn't have an answer. He stormed into the bedroom, slammed the door, and the apartment went silent again. Sunday was quiet. Liam stayed in the bedroom almost all day. I cooked, cleaned meal, prepped, did laundry. Every task felt clearer without walking on eggshells. When Monday came, I went to work like usual. Numbers steadied me the way they always do. Predictable, rational, clean. When I got home around 6 dinner, Liam was sitting on the couch, dressed nicely, hair perfect as if he'd rehearsed, looking remorseful. We need to talk, he said. Okay. He took a slow breath. I think you're overreacting, but I understand why you're upset. How generous of you. I'm trying to apologize, he snapped. I'm listening, I said. He swallowed. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have deleted the photos without telling you first. And I'm sorry I said you didn't fit my aesthetic. That was rude. That was hurtful, I corrected. He nodded stiffly. So, can we move past this now? Can you add me back to the credit card? No. His face froze. What do you mean, no? I apologized. This isn't about punishment, I said. It's a correction. A correction. Liam, this is insane. You were using my money for things that had nothing to do with us. I said, you are funding your brand with my income. That's not how partnerships work. Not this partnership. He stood up. You've changed. I've gotten honest, I said. I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm the woman who finally realized she deserves more than being a blurred background in your life. His jaw tightened. He stormed into the bedroom again. Tuesday evening, when I walked through the door, Liam was dressed like he was going to a gala, pressed shirt cologne hair sharp enough to cut glass. Where are you going? I asked. Out. With who? Does it matter? I guess not. He grabbed his keys dramatically. Bella, he said finally. We're getting dinner. Okay. You're not going to ask why? No. You're not jealous? No. He blinked, caught off guard. Most girlfriends would care. He pushed. I'm not most girlfriends, I said, and I'm not sure I'm your girlfriend at all. He actually laughed. You're not sure, are you? He hesitated. That hesitation was the truth. Then he closed the door behind him. He returned around midnight. I was reading on the couch when he walked in, smelling like expensive perfume that wasn't mine. Fun night, I asked. Yeah, actually. Good. He kicked off his shoes, then sank into the armchair across from me. You're not even going to ask what we did. You went to dinner, I said. You already told me. He waited, wanted a reaction, craved it. Bella said I'm the most attractive guy she's worked with, he said. That's nice. Bella wants to take me to Napa next weekend. You should go. He stared at me, searching for the moment where I'd cry beg. It didn't come. You don't even care, he whispered. You've spent the last 3 days making it clear I'm not what you want, I said. I'm just removing myself from the equation. Silence stretched long and thin between us. You're supposed to fight for me, he said. Why? I asked softly. You deleted me. He had no answer. Wednesday, I came home to find the apartment half empty. His closet half cleared, his drawers half open, half barren, his side of the bathroom counter spotless. He'd left a single text, staying with Bella for a while, need space. I typed, okay, let me know about the lease. A minute later, that's it, just okay. What else do you want me to say? He didn't respond. The truth settled over me then, heavy but clean. He wanted space. He wanted options. He wanted a life that photographed well. I wasn't part of that frame anymore. And maybe I finally realized I never really had been. By Thursday evening, the apartment felt like a hotel room someone else had checked out of. I told myself I was fine. I even told myself this was the cleanest version of a breakup I'd ever experienced. No screaming, no plates thrown. But the truth hit a little differently when everything went quiet. At 9:12 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hey, this is Noah. Can we talk? I frowned. I didn't know any Noah. Me, who is this? Noah, sorry. Bella's boyfriend. Well, ex, I don't know anymore. She posted a bunch of stories this week with some guy named Liam. She said you two broke up 2 weeks ago. I felt something cold crawl up my spine. Me, we didn't. Noah. Yeah, I'm figuring that out. Look, this is messy, but I just wanted to tell you something. Your boyfriend, X, has been telling people some stuff about you. I exhaled slowly. Here it comes. Me. What kind of stuff, Noah? Noah. That you're controlling. That you cut him off financially to punish him. That you were obsessed with keeping him from growing his brand. That you were emotionally abusive. For a moment, I couldn't even respond. Not because I was surprised, but because I wasn't. Me, he said all that. Noah, yeah. Bella told her gym friends the same story. It got back to me. Now she thinks I'm cheating because of those stories with Liam. This whole thing is a disaster. I rubbed a hand across my forehead. Liam always hated taking accountability. It made sense he'd rewrite the narrative the second it benefited him. Noah, look. Sorry to dump all this. Just thought you should know. Good luck. Me, you too. Thanks, Noah. I stared at our message thread for a long moment before taking screenshots. Dozens of emotions swirled inside me. Anger, clarity, grief, relief. But one settled more heavily than all the others. Validation. This wasn't my fault. Liam had been constructing a story long before I cut the card. I didn't give myself time to think. I dialed Liam. He answered on the second ring, breathless, like he'd been waiting for my call. Zara. I talked to Noah, I said. Silence. What? He asked carefully. Noah, I repeated. Bella's boyfriend. He let out a messy exhale. I can explain. You told him we broke up 2 weeks ago. We were basically broken up, he argued. You were pulling away. Liam, I said, you told people I was controlling and financially abusive. He went dead quiet. Is that what you really think I am? I asked. No, he snapped quickly. Zara, that's not okay. Listen, I framed things in a certain way so people wouldn't think you kicked me out. You framed yourself as the victim, I corrected. No, he said defensively. I framed it so my brand wouldn't take a hit. And there it was. Not even shame, not regret, just PR strategy. Do you hear yourself? I asked. Look, I didn't mean it literally, he said. It's just, people online don't understand nuance. I needed a simple narrative. You mean a lie? It's not a lie, he insisted. It's just context. You deleted me from your Instagram. You used my money to fund your content. You went out with Bella, who had a boyfriend, and you let her post stories that made you look single. Then you told people I was abusive so you wouldn't look bad. His voice cracked. Zara, please. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? I asked. He hesitated like he was pulling a handful of excuses together and weighing which sounded least incriminating. I panicked. I didn't know how to explain everything without people assuming the worst. So you made me the villain. He didn't argue, didn't deny, didn't defend. He just exhaled, a defeated, ugly, confirming sound. There was a long pause. Zara, he said quietly, can we fix this? Just come over? Or let me come home. We can talk in person. No, I said. His voice splintered. Why not? Because I finally believe you when you show me who you are. Zara, please, he whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I closed my eyes. Bring back your key, I said. This weekend, and take the rest of your things. What? He rasped. I already talked to the landlord. Your name is being removed from the lease. You? His voice cracked into disbelief. You already did that? Yes. You're really doing this? He whispered. Yes. But I love you. No, Liam, I said softly. You love being seen. You love being admired. You love being funded. He didn't speak. I was never your girlfriend, I said. I was your stability, your sponsor, your aesthetic safety net. Zara, please. Goodbye, Liam. I hung up. This time I didn't cry. Not because I didn't care, but because somewhere along the way I'd stopped grieving the relationship. I'd started grieving the illusion I had mistaken for one. Saturday afternoon, Liam arrived with a mutual friend and a U-Haul. I stayed in the bedroom. I heard boxes being stacked, closet doors opening, closing. Footsteps. Quiet laughter. Whispers. At one point, Liam's voice drifted down the hallway. Just don't say anything to her, he muttered. She's in a mood. I almost laughed. When they finished, I heard footsteps approaching the kitchen. A soft clink, the sound of metal on stone. When they left, I came out. Liam's key sat on the counter. Next to it, a note in his looping handwriting. I really am sorry. I hope you find someone who deserves you. I folded the note once, then dropped it directly into the trash. No hesitation, no second thoughts, no heartbreak, just closure, or something like it. By Sunday morning, the apartment felt like it had exhaled. Space where Liam's sneakers used to pile up. A clear bathroom counter, a closet that finally closed without a fight. I opened all the windows and let the cool air sweep through the rooms, carrying away the last traces of his cologne and self-importance. Then I deep-cleaned the place. Vacuumed behind furniture, Liam never moved. Scrubbed the kitchen grout, he never noticed. It was strangely therapeutic. Every swipe of a cloth felt like a sentence. This is mine now. This space belongs to me again. Monday morning, while waiting for my coffee order, my phone buzzed. Maya, have you seen Liam's Instagram today? My stomach didn't drop, didn't twist, didn't even flicker. Instead, I inhaled slowly and typed, me no. Why? Maya girl. Go look. Against my better judgment, I opened the app and typed his name into the search bar. He hadn't blocked me. Not yet. His newest post had gone up 2 hours earlier. A clean, moody, over-edited shot of him at some scenic overlook leaning against a railing with a distant brooding expression. The caption was a full paragraph. Sometimes walking away from toxicity is the biggest act of self-love. Grateful for my growth, grateful for my clarity, grateful for the strength to remove myself from controlling people who don't support my dreams. Hundreds of comments already. You're so strong. Proud of you for getting out. You deserve better. Never let anyone dim your light. I stared at the words, at his carefully crafted victimhood, at the audacity of his narrative. I actually laughed out loud in the middle of the cafe. I scrolled a little more. Another story, him and Bella clinking green smoothies with the text, New Beginnings. Of course he was leaning into the aesthetic of reinvention. I didn't comment. I didn't watch all the stories. I didn't even feel tempted to defend myself. Instead, block. One clean tap and he vanished. Like he had deleted me, I deleted him. Except mine wasn't about an aesthetic. Mine was about peace. 2 weeks passed. Real, blissful, unexpectedly quiet weeks. I cooked what I liked. I exercised when I wanted. I binged 3 documentaries without someone complaining they were killing the vibe. For the first time in months, my savings account didn't feel like it was bleeding. Then one quiet Tuesday evening, I got a notification. Venmo requests $200 from Liam Brooks. I actually snorted. The description read, your half of rent and utilities for the last 6 months. The months he didn't actually pay. The months I covered. The months he was taking my credit card to brunch. My thumb hovered over decline. Then I added a note. Doesn't fit my financial aesthetic. Decline. 30 seconds later, user has blocked you. I laughed until my stomach hurt. It felt like the final thread snapping. A tiny, ridiculous detail that released the last bit of tension I'd been holding on to. I have only one photo left of us. Just one buried deep in an old folder I haven't opened in months. We're at a hiking trail. Probably the only time his phone wasn't between us. I'm smiling in a way that looks real. He's smiling in a way that looks posed. I keep it not because I want him back, not because I'm nostalgic, not because I miss the aesthetic we pretended to have, but because I want to remember something important, what I looked like when I was settling, what my face looked like before I realized I deserved a life that didn't need filters, edits, or curated angles. I'm the main character in my own story now. And the best part, there isn't a single photo I need to delete to make it true. We live in a world where everyone talks about aesthetic. We curate our feeds, filter our photos, and design our lives to look perfect from the outside. But Liam taught me a hard lesson about the difference between aesthetic and asset. He treated me like a prop that didn't fit his set design. But the irony is while he was busy curating his image, he was neglecting his ledger. Financial abuse often hides behind pretty words like building a brand or investing in the future. But let's call it what it is. It's theft. Theft of your money, theft of your security, and theft of your reality. As an auditor, my job is to find the truth hidden in the numbers. And the truth of my relationship was that I was a line item labeled revenue source in a business plan called Liam's Ego. If you are currently funding someone else's dream while they treat you like a nightmare, please listen to me. Close the account, cut the card, change the lock. Your financial health is a form of self-care. Your stability is sexy, and anyone who tells you that your boundaries are controlling is just mad that they can no longer control you. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't fit their aesthetic. You are not a decoration. You are the whole damn building. Thank you for listening to Zara Mitchell's story. Until next time, check your statements and trust your gut.